Hey, this is Tuhon Aditya from LightHaven. Today we're going to be working on a knife switching drill that incorporates both grip switches as well as hand switches. Let's just address the elephant in the room, which is why would you grip switch or hand switch in the first place? Now I can think of two major reasons why you'd want to do this. The first is a tactical reason, which is that by switching my grip or by switching the hand which is wielding the knife, I may get some sort of tactical advantage against my opponent. The other might be an injury. Maybe my hand has been cut or my hand is hurt and I'm forced to wield the knife in the other hand. I need to be able to make these switches, whether hand switches or grip switches, effectively and efficiently without disengaging or stopping my encounter, without stopping and looking at my hand. I need to be able to switch from one hand to the other or switch grips. And so whatever your opinions may be on the validity of knife switching, whether you should or you should not, it is a useful tool to have in your arsenal. I'm going to be sharing with you guys 3 ways of making these switches. I'm going to show you how to switch hands, how to switch grips, and how to do both at the same time. And at the end of it, I'm going to give you the tools to be able to form your own drill by which you can practice all these 3 switches. The first switch is the most fundamental and, in my opinion, the most important switch, because what it's doing is building comfort and coordination to be able to do the more complicated switches down the line. All the first switch is that you're within the same grip. So if I'm saksa, I'm going to keep saksa even when I switch hands. If I'm pakal, I'm going to keep pakal even in the other hand. All of the switches that we're going to be doing today, whether hand switches or grip switches, rely on what we call tactile sensitivity, which is that I don't want to stop and look at my hand and then switch. If you close your eyes and just clap or slap your forearms or slap your elbows, I don't need to look to be able to find one hand with the other hand. And that's essentially what this first switch is doing. I'm taking the knife, I'm not throwing it from one hand into the other, I'm literally placing it, passing it from one hand to the other, almost like I am clapping. Now what's really important in this is that I'm replacing my hand with the other hand with as much accuracy and precision as possible. And again, I'm saying replacing, and really being very specific with the word replacing, because I am not just switching hands, I'm replacing my thumb with my thumb in the exact position, my index finger with my index finger in that exact position. I want to replace as accurately as possible. Now in order to do this, the thing you must focus on is not necessarily catching with this hand, but passing with this hand. The better I'm able to pass with the knife wielding weapon, the easier it's going to be for me to replace more accurately with whichever hand I'm switching to. So a lot of the onus is on the knife wielding hand to pass, and not throw, not catch, but to pass. This can be done in pakal or in saksa. And again, as you can see, I'm not looking at my hand as I'm doing this. If I can clap my hands together without looking, I can do this. The next switch is going to be both a grip switch as well as a hand switch. Now I'm going to be going from saksa in one hand to pakal in the other, and pakal in one hand to saksa in the other. Now in order to do this, again without having to look down at my knife, without having to take my eyes off my opponent, what I'm going to basically doing is I'm going to take the V of my hand and I'm going to find my forearm. Initially we're going to look for that forearm, but as we get more comfortable, you can go closer and closer to the wrist until you can find the butt of the knife. So initially we're going to be finding that forearm. So I'm going to find the forearm with the V, and I'm going to slide my hand up to my wrist until it reaches the end of the knife. Once it does this, I'm going to have my knife wielding arm also facing palm up, so that both my weapons are palm up. And from here, I'm going to literally pass and guide the knife into the other hand in the correct grip. So that's my saksa. Again, find the forearm, slide it up, both palms facing up, guide the knife into place. Palm on the forearm, slide it up, both palms facing up, guide the knife into place. And as you get more comfortable with this, you can be coming closer and closer to the wrist. Now obviously I want to take my time with this, because if I get this wrong, I don't want to be, if I go too high, I'm going to be grabbing the knife. If I go too low, I'm going to miss everything entirely. So really work, take your time, building comfort with these tactile reference points, whether it's just the clapping one, the first one, or this sliding one, which is the second one. The third is going to be a grip switch within the same hand. For me, this is the one which is the most dicey. It's the one with the most room for failure. And this is what we call a pinch switch or a pinch grip switch. And essentially what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pinching the knife between my thumb and my index finger, or my thumb and my middle finger, depending on the size of the weapon and where I want to grip and where I want to pinch. Now in all of these knife switches, two things are very important. Three things are very important, sorry. The first is I don't drop my knife and I'm able to do this under pressure. The second is I obviously don't cut myself. And the third is that when I make this switch, I want the edge to be facing in the direction that I want it to, whether it's edge in or edge out. If I'm in saksa, I obviously don't want the edge facing in. I want the edge facing out. So whatever switch I'm doing, it's essential that my knife ends up in the correct orientation. Now for the pinch switch, what I need to do first is I need to rotate the knife so it's facing me. And as I rotate it, I'm going to set up my pinch. So as you can see, I'm holding it between my thumb and my index and my middle finger. I can also do thumb and index finger. It's up to you. Turn with the thumb, pinch, and now essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow the knife, the weight of the knife, to rotate down, and then I'm going to re-grip into pakal with the edge facing the way I want it. To do the opposite way, I'm going to again flip into this pinch position, and now I'm going to flick the knife facing up, and then I'm going to re-grip. So one more time, flip it, pinch it, allow it to fall down, re-grip. Flip it, pinch it, flick it up, and re-grip. This requires a little bit of practice, but then once you get the hang of it, you can then use momentum to aid in the speed and the effectiveness and the efficiency of the switch. Once you get all these, then you can start building a flow, switching within the same hand, doing the sliding grip, and you can just play around with it. Now in the beginning, I obviously would not recommend doing this with a live blade the way I am right now, but I am quite comfortable with these switches. I spent a lot of time with these switches, and I have also done them under pressure in a sparring context. Again, I did them because I wanted to be comfortable with them, just so that I can have this tool in my arsenal. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you learned from what you saw, please do like and share this video. Please do subscribe to the channel. All of these things really do help out the school and the channel a lot. A huge thank you to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to know more about our Patreon page and the exclusive content that we offer there, check out the link I'm going to leave in the description down below. Lastly, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.